next aspect that really impacts working leaders and lead hands is the issue of assigning work tasks to people, or delegation skills. What can happen sometimes, you'll remember that earlier in the course we talked about the trap that we can fall in as leaders. We can fall into the trap where we're doing most of the work and we're really not asking enough of the people that work with us. And so delegation is meant to take elements or parts of the work that need to get done and get you to feel more comfortable in being able to ask other people to do those pieces of work. The reason is because that's what will grow their talents and abilities, and that's also what will make your leadership role a little bit less stressful and more organized, is when you can get other people doing more of the work. So with delegation, we really define it as being the assignment of one or more responsibilities or obligations to someone else on the team, along with the authority and the resources to complete the job. So what we've found when we've studied delegation, and we've looked at why leaders do and don't delegate, one of the things we find is that as employees, or even as lead hands and working leaders, we really wish that we had more autonomy, more freedom, that we had just a bigger span of control. And yet when we ask leaders about why they don't give away more control, it's because leaders have this desire to have their fingers on everything, to have control over everything, to manage all the little details. And what you start to find is it's the leader's reluctance to let go of some of those things that becomes the real issue. Not the person on the other end who's willing to receive it in most cases. It's the leader's willingness to let go. And it may be because they enjoy that element of the work, they want to keep it to themselves. It may be that in their mind they've thought that the people aren't interested in taking that element of the work on. And the reality is we know that people are generally waiting to be challenged, waiting to grow and change, and it's the leader's hesitation in letting go of some of those things that's the issue, not in the people that you're letting it go to. So in delegation, what we're looking at is there's many opportunities. First is on Maslow's hierarchy of needs in terms of the motivators. Delegation gets people to grow, to learn something new, to take on more responsibility. It gives them a little bit of variety in their job. That's a good thing. We tend to isolate people and put them into holes and have them fill those positions because it's easy on us as a leader. It's not good for them. They stagnate and they need some variety. It helps them feel more important. I mean, if we give them something to take care of and they actually do that, it makes them feel good about that. They gain a sense of ownership because we've transferred responsibility. Maybe it's responsibility related to doing some paperwork that they don't normally get involved in. For the leader, paperwork can be a big headache and a pain. But for an employee that doesn't deal with paperwork, doing some of the paperwork might actually be a little bit of a boost to what they do because they don't normally get to do that kind of tracking and information. It's more valuable to the organization. So you become more valuable the better delegator you become. And the reason for that is, at least in the ideal world, the better delegators should have more advancement opportunities because they're able to give up more control to other people and still get the work done. So a leader really gets work done through other people. And it could lead over time to a promotion. And now, not everyone's ready for a promotion. Not everyone thinks a promotion's a good idea, because we all know that there's downsides to the leadership role, a lot of headaches and hassles that come with it. And yet, if you start to get a taste for leadership, and you start to realize that by empowering other people and helping them to grow and develop, that's a totally different skill set that you could add to your resume, to your repertoire, and it makes you even more valuable as a future leader in the organization. So you get more capable people, you get things like greater flexibility, you get to grow, because let's face it, when you're delegating and you're coaching and mentoring other people, you're growing. You get a stronger department who's more capable of getting the work done. It builds loyalty and respect, because when you trust your people to do certain elements of the work, it means that they trust you now and you have greater loyalty. Again, you don't get loyalty by demanding it, you get loyalty by earning it. As we're looking at giving them the background, tell them why. Tell them why it's important. Again, why do you do that? Because when you just force something on them, they tend to push back. If you give them the background of why it's important, why they've been selected and so forth, you help answer the questions. Describe how important it is. You know, this is important because if we don't do this, the customers won't be looked after, or the clients will be let down, or the taxpayers will be upset. Tell them what the expected results are. At the end, when you've done all this, this is what it should look like. Defining that vision is important. Now, that's different than telling them every single little step they should take in doing the job. That would be called micromanaging. So to some degree, there's this fine line between telling somebody what you'd like to see them take care of and telling them exactly how to do it. You want to leave them some discretion in finding out how to do it or thinking through how to do it and then maybe telling you that. And then you confirm their understanding of what you've asked them to do. You ask them for their approach or what actions they're going to take, and then you inform and follow up. You ask them to keep you informed, to report back to you perhaps. A lot of times we think, well, delegation is I'm just going to offload this to someone else and they're going to take care of it for me. Well, that's a little bit risky. If the person's never done it before and you're just going to completely send them running off on their own, if you're able to withstand the possible risks of them messing it up, then by all means you can do that sort of just, what would we call that, sort of cold turkey. Just give them the assignment and tell them to take a hike. Most people would be better off if we challenge them a bit and also let them know that we're there to support them a bit so that they know that they can come back to us. So maybe instead of giving them full responsibility for something, we give them partial responsibility and have them come back to us and say, here's what I did, here's how it went.